February is, no, is it? It's February, right?
That
Yes,
would be a
it's
very good start if we
February.
could get the month correct. Yes, that would be a good start for the show today. Yes. What month are we in? Let me think about it. Yes. And actually, what's the topic for this show?
So this month is International Boost Self-Esteem Month.
Yes.
Uh, and so I thought that would be a good topic to talk about today.
Yes. Yeah. And it helps your self-esteem when you know what month you're in as well, doesn't it? Yes. That would boost your
Yeah,
self-esteem knowing
because
that.
I think a lot of times, it's just we have these inner voices that we have these mind monkeys that are telling us crap that isn't true,
Mm. And it's
and it's not always easy to switch those off.
um, but sometimes they tell us good things as well. I think that's the thing for people is that we always look at the inner voice like an inner critic, but sometimes it can be critique rather than critic. It's actually telling us on for a valid reason. It's giving us that. And when you start to understand that, I think that's what actually helps people to not to get too negative about the voice in their own head.
Yeah, it's also not like you don't have to switch it off, but sometimes maybe tweak it a little.
It's that,
I um I said to you just in a in conversation, I think last week, where I was like, my brain's been a bit naughty, and I quite liked that. It was just kind of accidental, but I thought, oh, that means I could send my brain to the naughty step and give it a timeout and go like, sit there,
yes,
be quiet for a minute.
yeah. And there's something I love that I can't remember where I got it from, but someone I was reading a long time ago. And it's because we've got all different parts to us. Right, so there's the voices for every part of whatever you do. Your confident voice, your, like you say, the one that's maybe a sadness voice, or the one that critique or criticizes you all the time. But this person gave them all names. So, like you said about the naughty corner, it was like, for example, George is the bad one today, so George is not allowed to talk today because he's the bad person. So it's Pauline's turn today, so she's more bright, more lively, whatever. And I thought it was amazing, is that just by changing some this simple as saying that voice is such and such, they get a sort of image in their own head of what that person's like. So that
Yes.
one can go and do that. No, I'm not listening to that one today. I like that one better. I'll go and listen to that one.
Ah,
And it sounds a bit crazy, so as first when someone said it to me, but actually it really does work. If you do it,
and
even
it's
if you don't think
well,
one,
I do it. I did it when I gave my intrusive thoughts a name because it's so much easier to say Charlie Sharp
yes,
than it's because I don't want to tell myself to shut up. That's not nice. That's not how we speak to ourselves. Well, that's how I speak to myself sometimes, but that's not how we want to speak to ourselves. So to sort of externalize it a little bit, to create that little bit of distance, also means I feel that you get a chance to respond rather than react, right, to what's happening in your head.
yeah, and that's the important part, as you said there, is giving yourself that little bit of distance between you and that, whatever this voice is, because it's not you. It's it may be part of who you are, but it's not actually who you are. And that's the important fact that people sometimes get because this voice gets stuck and they hear it. And because it's always the same voice, then that's the bit for them. But if you can differentiate that by giving it that name or another name, it really works. But I've said to you before as well that um, I have a thing with clients when they get that voice kind of they don't want for that day, they can find a way of stopping it. And I've had some really unusual ones that people come up with. The first one ever was a stop sign, like
Mhm.
we call lollipop ladies here, lollipop gentlemen here. That's big sign on it, big circle on it. Stop. Cars
Yeah.
will stop then. So they think if it can stop a car, it can stop anything. Other ones use like the traffic lights, red, amber, and green. So red is something they really don't want to think about. Green is, oh yeah, I like that thought. Amber is, I don't need that now, but I might need that later. So they'll leave that. I've got one who does it with golf. So I thought because they want to use it as if it's a golf hang and it hits it back out again. Table tennis. I've had just about everything you can think of. But what's important is that they're all doing something that actually says, right, I don't need to deal with that just now. And it doesn't mean they get rid of thought. You can't help it. The thoughts come in. Just
Yeah.
acknowledge it. Acknowledge your thoughts there, accept it. But you don't have to react to it. You take
Yeah.
that wee split second, you respond. It doesn't bother you anymore.
Well, that, and I also think what helped me a lot in terms of self-esteem is to not think of self-confidence and self-esteem as the same thing because they're not.
Mm.
And I think we do that too often. And then when we're not confident at something because we're learning a new task or we're learning a new skill, and whether that be cooking or or a hobby or an instrument or even just learning to respond differently to to life,
Mm,
um, uh, acknowledging that there's a learning curve and that you're not going to get it perfect the first time
mm,
round. But that doesn't mean that you're any less worthy as a human being, that you have less value as a person. I mean, some days I'm better at that than others because again, learning curve. But
mm.
but I think we sometimes and especially in a world that is so productivity oriented, right? Um, uh, we tend to think of our worth as how good we are at the task at hand.
Mm. And I think that's where people get a lot wrong. You're right. Because to me, self confidence is being confident in your own traits or your own abilities. Self worth is how we look at ourselves inside, how we feel about ourselves. And they are totally different. Because your self confidence can be how you do your job or how you are at a certain thing you're really good at. But then other times we don't even allow ourselves to get that far because the self worth stops us from doing it. But what really amazes me to people are at most of the time the self worth comes from the wee thing you're talking about. This, I think, I love a great thing is that Buddhists call it the monkey mind. Like you talk about the mind there, the mind monkeys. They call it the monkey mind because it's like chattering. If you ever watch any programming in, and when you see a bunch of monkeys together, it's the racket they make that's incredible. But imagine that always going on in your head all the time. So Buddhists believe about calming the monkey mind, and if you've one thought at a time, then everything else disappears. And that's the same when you've got your self worth. It's just what you tell yourself, that one thing you can tell yourself that day that you do good, that's really good about you and how you feel. That can be an amazing thing to get up at and just do first thing in the morning because that sets your day up. And that's your self worth really coming to light. But the only person that really can do that is you. The word self gives it away. It's only you can do that.
It's
But so
in the
many people,
name.
yes, and yet so many people say it's because of other people. They blame everything externally on it. But then you're the one that's choosing to allow that to happen.
Well,
Make
true.
the opposite choice.
And that's the tricky thing with external validation as well, right? And it's fine. Like sometimes we just need someone to say we're a nice person because we're only
Mm-hmm.
human, and sometimes we just need someone to shore us up a little bit, and that's fine. But if we're constantly relying on the people around us to let us know that we have worth as a human, that is a very tricky game to play because if you give that much power to other people, then they can quite easily take that away and watch you crumble.
Yeah, and that's it. You are in control of everything you do. When people don't feel that way, but it's because this. If you actually stop and think about it, it's like triggers of what I keep hearing nowadays. People say, I've been triggered by this, I've been triggered by that. Well, no, you're choosing to allow that to do that to you. You're choosing to let that happen because of that. Association is another word for that. You're associating something with that image, that moment, that sound, that whatever, that smell, anything. And that's what allows it to happen. But you can choose not to let that happen. That's the same when you have these mind monkeys. You can choose to allow them to be there or not. And a fantastic simple way of doing it is a little bit of mindfulness. And mindfulness is not this big mystic thing that people think. It just means stop them for a moment or two and your own thoughts. Even 30 seconds, whatever it is, you stop, think about something good. Think about something about you that makes you feel really good. Think about something that makes you laugh. I always think this is a great way of doing it. Even if it's only for a minute, you think of something that makes you laugh and you start smiling. And when you start smiling, look, you even mentioned the word, and look what happens to you. That's what I love about it. It's such a fantastic word. You say smile, people do it. That's why I have that condition when I work with people. I don't care how they are through the whole session, but I just want to see them smile before they leave. Because at least for that little bit of time, they feel good. And that's the important thing with mind monkeys is not to let them overtake your thinking so much that you forget how to smile.